What if I said my most popular video, I hate? In this video, I hired a popular YouTuber at the time to rate my face. The YouTuber's name was Wheat Waffles. He perpetuated a popular modern philosophy called Black Pill, basically stating that nothing matters but your looks. Jobs, relationships, opportunities all came down to one thing: your face. But why do I hate my most popular video? Because I contributed to this belief that everything is planned for you, and if your face isn't a 10, 8, 9 from some random YouTuber scale who wouldn't even show his own face at the time, you're screwed. I wasn't harsh in the video because I didn't want to ruffle any feathers. But these are my true beliefs, and I'll put it simply here. If you can't outwork your genetics, you're weak. Starting off with my first point, the greats were just like you. Often we look at people at the finish line and think that we can never get there. We look at people at the top of the mountain and think, holy shit, they were just born there. But no, everyone started off as a baby, just like you. I often try to think how many LeBrons are out there. How many people had the genetic background of a LeBron James, of a Kobe Bryant, or somebody who uses their brain a little bit more, like a Steve Jobs or Elon Musk. These are rare examples. These people are admittedly phenoms. But how many people had similar genetics to them but just didn't have the grind, didn't have the grit, didn't have the discipline? Sure, they were born like that. Sure, they had the genetic edge. But so did a lot of other people. Most people who actually had their genetics failed. That's why there's only one Elon Musk. That's why there's only one Kobe Bryant, one LeBron James, one Steve Jobs. Because most people who actually had their brain power or their physical prowess actually failed. This is when we look into our mirror and think, are we like that? Do we have some latent ability within our genetics that makes us us? If you are born here now, then you are a survivor, my friend. You aren't just some blip in the realm of the world who was just born. No, through evolution and through God-given power, your grandparents made it, then your great-grandparents made it, then your grandparents made it, then your parents made it, and all of these lines of ancestors came down to you. They worked their asses off. Some of us were slaves. I mean, technically, all of us were slaves at one point in history. And they grinded. Through that hardship, they still came on top and reproduced. But you're gonna give up because you don't have the best jawline. You don't have the most perfect sculpted nose, the best eyebrow ridge. That's why you're gonna give up. But your ancestor, who was literally a slave working for some dude, some dictator, they didn't give up. They still reproduced. Somehow, some way, they still raised a proper family enough that you can be born. And this brings me on to my next point, that you don't know your potential. How ridiculous is it to be at your lowest point and think that you can't get past that? You don't know the best version of you. This is why I tell you guys, the best way to meet the best version of you, that higher self figure, is to ask yourself, what would my highest self do? That's how you truly meet and align to your God-given purpose. But if you're at your lowest self, how can you say, this is the best I can be? How can you say, this is my potential? you don't know your potential. You don't know how good you can even look. And that brings me on to my last point, that it's easy to pass up the 80%. I used to say 90%, I used to say 99%, but more accurately, I think it's more of an 80-20 principle. And I think 20% of people are really on their stuff, or at least they're trying, 80% of people don't give a rat's ass. They eat whatever, drink whatever, smoke whatever. They don't care. Now, sure, we all, including me, fall into low self habits, low self addictions. But if you just do the basics, and by basics, I mean meditation and prayer, I mean working out consistently, I mean paying attention to your mental health, watching your thoughts, understanding your thoughts at a deeper level. I mean, these things, they sound kind of woo-woo, but they're really basic, and they're the basics of life. They're the basics that religion has taught us for years. And most people don't do these things. They don't care. So using the 80-20 rule, that there's only 20% of people really on their stuff, that means that you have an advantage, especially in this modern world, to pass up everybody who just is living life day by day, living life just to live, who are in that survival mechanism of, oh, I go to work, oh, I eat food, then after work, I watch TV, and after TV, I go to sleep and eat food, and just that robotic mindset. You can pass these people up just by doing little basic things. A little bit of skin care, brushing your teeth twice a day. Most people brush their teeth once a day. Most people don't have good cologne. Get some good cologne. Things like this makes you a better human being, makes you look better. I mean, I've been on a long looks maxing journey for years. And as I continue, I look better because I'm moderating my diet. I'm lifting heavier and heavier weights. I'm cutting out bad habits. I didn't like weed, so I cut out weed. I realized drinking was bad for you, so I cut out drinking. It's just that easy. You just kind of cut these things out. And sure, you may have an addiction here and there to whatever the things that I previously mentioned. But if you kind of just do the basics, if you kind of just keep lifting weights, doing your cardio, meditating, praying, working on these little skills day by day, it adds up. And then eventually you look back at your competition and they're not even there. But when we have this belief of the black pill, everything is just made for me, and I can't get ahead no matter what I do, cool, you're gonna stay like that. If you have the belief of I can't get ahead, guess what's gonna happen? You're not gonna get ahead. You're not gonna outpace these people. To sum it up, weakness is alive in our generation, and it's thriving. And I think the reason why that video was my most popular video is because I kind of fed into it. I kind of fed into this narrative of, oh, weakness. But even back then, I still believed what I believe now, and that you must outwork your genetics. Yes, you are born like this, but most of you guys are just normal guys who just don't want to try. You just don't want to try. You just don't want to give any effort. So you fade into this belief of that, I don't want to get any effort because I can't give any effort. And although that's comforting, it's going to lead you astray, and you're going to stay the exact same year after year after year until you're on your deathbed and you're thinking like, damn, you get that last godly higher self thought of, I could have been great.